I'm sure you're very happy to be here, a part of this historic occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamaicans who are proud of our island home, good morning. Oh, that sounds a lot better. Thank you so much, and welcome to this very special occasion. It is the official launch of the Jamaica Legal Information Portal. We are here, JLIP. So we are going to be beginning shortly. We are working with our team right there. They are streaming live on JIS, and so I'm waiting to get their thumbs up so that we can begin officially. Ladies and gentlemen, all good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here coming to you live from this monumental occasion. It is the launch, the official launch of the Jamaica Legal Information Portal, JLIP. I ask at this time that we all stand for the playing of our national anthem of Jamaica, after which I ask that we continue standing as we enter the throne of grace. We're asking Mrs. Reve Mills, our legal coordinator, to come forward and lead us in prayer.
Good morning, everyone. Let us pray. Almighty and everlasting God, we come before you this day with hearts filled with gratitude and reverence. We thank you, Lord, for the gift of nationhood and for the opportunity to gather in this sacred space to witness a significant milestone in the advancement of justice, transparency, and public access to the law. Today marks the launch of the Jamaica Legal Information Portal, a historic and transformative undertaking, the first of its kind in our nation. Lord, we acknowledge that all wisdom and understanding comes from you. We therefore invite your divine presence to dwell among us as we celebrate this moment of national progress. We ask, O Lord, that you bless every mind and every hand that contributed to this vision. May this portal become a beacon of knowledge, empowerment, and equity for all Jamaicans, regardless of status or station. May it reflect our collective commitment to justice, accountability, and good governance. We lift up Jamaica, its leaders, public servants, and every citizen. May your grace rest upon this nation, guiding us towards truth, harmony, and righteousness. As we strengthen institutions and advance access to legal resources, may we also advance in compassion, humility, and wisdom. We commit this initiative and all involved into your capable hands, Lord, and we do so in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen.
Thank you. You may be seated, and God is absolutely good. We don't sound like we're convinced that God is good. God is good all the time. And on a morning like this, we have to really give credit where credit is due, because this was just a dream back in 2022, And here we are in 2025 with a dream realized. In fact, I heard Simone Clark Cooper saying to our minister just the other morning that she's looking like a proud mom, to see her beaming with pride, to see the end result of this amazing project. So ladies and gentlemen, as we start, we're going to be acknowledging, of course, our host minister, the Honorable Marlene Malahoo Fort. Of course, we have with us this morning our Minister of Justice, the Honorable Delroy Chuck, who unfortunately will have to be leaving us early today because he has a number of other obligations to attend to. We also want to acknowledge our hard-working Permanent Secretary, Mr. Wayne Robertson. Thank you so much, sir, for being here with us and for also having a hand on this project from the very inception to where we are today. Attorney General Dr. Derek McCoy is here with us. Also want to acknowledge Senior Puny Judge in the Supreme Court, the Honorable Mrs. Justice Lorna Shelley Williams. Cabinet Secretary, the Honorable Audrey V. Sewell. Permanent Secretaries, distinguished guests, representatives from the various private and public sector entities, members of the media, and everyone here, Jamaicans watching us at yard and abroad. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Wow, we have so much to be proud of today. Today, the Jamaica Legal Information Portal is Jamaica's primary official online platform created to enhance public access to laws and provide a convenient space for individuals to be informed and to query the status of laws. It's a powerful tool for promoting transparency, legal awareness, and civic engagement. And one thing about us Jamaicans, we know how much we are very passionate about our laws, right? And sometimes we don't necessarily have the right information. But this portal is going to make sure that when we have those conversations, while we're in the markets, while we're getting our hair done, while we're in the bar, we are correct in speaking about what actually exists on our books. So ladies and gentlemen, to give us a better understanding and a real overview of this project, at this time I invite Mr. Wayne O. Robertson, JP, our Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, to come forward. Please give him a big round of applause.
Thank you, Ms. Debbie Bissoon, our capable Master of Ceremonies. My Minister, Honorable Marlene Malahoo Fort, KC MP JP, hardworking Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, Honorable Delroy Chuck, KC MP, hardworking Minister of Justice, Honorable Audrey V. Sewell, OJCD JP, our distinguished Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Mrs. Justice Lorna Shelley Williams, Senior Puny Judge, representing the Chief Justice, Permanent Secretaries Stuart McFarlane from the Ministry of Justice, and Mead from the Office of the Prime Minister. Thank you so much for your support, PSs. Distinguished guests, representatives from various public and private sector entities, Ms. Tanisha Watkins, President, newly minted President of the Jamaican Bar Association, JAMBAR, my team from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, too many to name, as well as the Legal Reform Department, the Office of the Parliamentary Council, and the Law Revision Secretariat. Members of the media, good morning. I greet you very well. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important that I provide a background so that you can appreciate where we're coming from and where we have reached today. So there's currently no official website in Jamaica that provides information on a wide range of legal literature. No central portal exists solely for this purpose. For several years, the Ministry of Justice has maintained, to its credit, through the Law Revision Secretariat, which was under the portfolio of the Ministry of Justice at that time, a subsidiary webpage accessible through the Ministry's website, which provides information on the revised laws of Jamaica and more recently some gazettes and acts of parliament. Questions have been raised by several users from various sectors of the society regarding the degree to which the webpage can be considered user-friendly with usability and searchability of the site's content being central concerns. These issues include the fact that although the information is available online, it is not always accessible through a simple, easy-to-use search feature. Additionally, the previous search capability was limited to a predefined set of terms associated with each piece of legislation in the database. The publication of the laws of Jamaica has had a long history, but throughout that history, it can be admitted that the access to publication has been limited to the few who are aware of its existence and who knew at the time to access them. The Jamaica Justice System Reform Task Force report, and Minister Chuck and P.S. McFarlane are very familiar with this, published in June of 2007, highlights the connection between accessibility to information by the public about the legislation that underpins the functioning of Jamaica's economy, as well as justice and governance systems. Throughout the report, it indicated both explicitly and implicitly that a crucial element in strengthening the justice system, applying the rule of law, and enhancing the effectiveness for the benefit of citizens and society is ensuring that all individuals interacting with the system in any capacity are or have the opportunity to be properly informed. As emphasized in the report, the availability of information about the laws is important for several reasons. The first is that people who are aware of the laws that govern them may less likely be in conflict with them. And second, people who come in contact with the justice system for whatever reason, as an offender, as a victim, or as a witness, including a litigant, who may not be aware of their obligations, need ready access to legislation and legal procedures to inform themselves. Thirdly, information and education are important aspects of crime prevention. Fourth, every citizen in a democratic society has a need and a responsibility to be aware of his or her rights and responsibilities as well. And of course, these are what we promote when the team is out in the field through the work of the Human Rights Division. Knowledge of the law can help people to better identify nature of legal assistance that they may require. That's a fifth point outlined in the report. And sixth and finally, knowledge of how to access information about the laws that touch on concern a particular issue can be a game changer for citizens who are at a disadvantage for economic or other reasons, including discrimination. So, ladies and gentlemen, it was very evident that the existing system needed to be transformed. So the transformative journey has its genesis on September 28, 2020, when Cabinet granted approval for additional financing to be made available and given to the Foundations for Competitiveness and Growth project, called the FCGP. At that time, the private sector had expressed concerns in several fora about challenges experienced in accessing Jamaican laws, particularly the gazettes, and identified this as a deterrent to conducting business in Jamaica. In response, the Foundations for Competitiveness and Growth project partnered with the Ministry of Justice to establish the Jamaica Legal Information Portal at that time. However, with the establishment of the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs in January of 2022, the partnership arrangement changed. The procurement process was subsequently initiated and culminated in the contract being awarded to European consulting firm Softengy at a cost of US $295,700. And the project formally commenced in 2023. The scope of the project included design, development, data migration, and operationalization of the JLIP platform. And just to remind you that JLIP is the Jamaica Legal Information Portal. It also encompassed capacity building of staff and the creation of sustainability framework for long-term system use. The contractor was also responsible for producing all the relevant documentation, including a maintenance and support plan, including a final completion report confirming that the system was developed, tested, deployed, and transferred to us, the client, as per specifications. The project was structured to span across critical development phases, including a comprehensive inception and analysis stage, iterative design and software development, stage testing and demonstrations, full system deployment to stage and production environments. SoftNG applied a hybrid technology combining agile software development best practices with a structured project management approach. The technical team finalized infrastructure specification, selected an open source modular tech stack, and prepared data migration templates. And based on research and stakeholder input, prototypes were developed and refined, culminating in an approved system design and detailed requirements specification. The system was formally handed over with residual fixes scheduled for during a 12-month warranty support period, and the project concluded with the submission of the final report and full system transfer, ensuring ongoing support and sustainability. That is very important, because if there are any challenges with the system, we have to allow for that period for correction. Stakeholder engagement was critical to the process. As with any project, stakeholder engagement is paramount. And so with consistent collaboration, the team engaged various stakeholders, and of course when I speak of the GOJ team, I speak of the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, the PIOJ, that's the Planning Institute of Jamaica, JAMPRO, eGov Limited, Jamaica Limited. We also had support from, and I'm going to name the project team members shortly, from the Public Sector Modernization Division, now under the portfolio of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. Ministry of Justice also provided support, IT technician as well, and also eGov Jamaica Limited, very importantly. So from the start, an inclusive approach involved workshop demonstrations, validation sessions, and regular feedback to align the deliverables with stakeholder needs. Communication channels included meetings, video calls, emails, among other things, supported by a monthly progress report for transparency purposes. The JLIP team provided oversight, monitored progress, facilitated interagency coordination, and managed change requests. Strengthening institutional support was also critical. eGov Jamaica Limited led infrastructure tasks, ensuring server setup, network readiness, and security. Stakeholders actively participated in major milestones, user acceptance testing, called UAT, and training, with feedback systematically incorporated to ensure that the final system met shared requirements, while at the same time adhering to technical and contractual constraints. And I'm winding down. So ladies and gentlemen, the JLIP is a centralized repository, online platform, established to first of all improve public access to the laws of Jamaica. So that is with all of the work that I spoke of earlier, culminated with the establishment of this wonderful, game-changing, revolutionary tool. So the intention is to improve public access to the laws of Jamaica, of course the Constitution being our supreme law, with a particular focus on the Jamaica Gazette, publications, and content that informs users of seminal judicial and legislative development. It also serves to educate the public about all aspects of legal information, which will ultimately redound to legal literacy, and that is something that the ministry is championing through its legal education division, and the team is here as well. Also, another very important purpose is to provide a facility for the public to express their views on or query the status of any law. They can interact with the system. We're going to show a demo video later on, so I won't preempt that process. The website has been designed to serve legal professionals, academics, public officers, and the wider citizenry, the man in the street, the man that sell down the market, Coronation Market, banana and yam. It's for those persons too. And we do have a chatbot that allows for you to ask questions. So ultimately, we expect that this will promote transparency, service excellence, which is something that I am passionate about and the ministry is passionate about, and equitable access to justice. So ladies and gentlemen, it would be remiss of me to not highlight the very important officers, and I'm going to ask them to stand as I call their names, who was a part of the team. And without them, this project would not have been possible. So while I was given a role to ensure that deliverables were signed off on, I tried my best to keep abreast of the progress of the project. So my role, I would say, was secondary. Nadine Wilkins, Director, Legal Reform, Project Manager. Miss Wilkins has been carrying this baby for over 9 months. And I'm very concerned that after over 9 months, I don't know. We have to talk about how that works. But thank you, Ms. Wilkins. You're appreciated. Julia Gowie-Williams. Director of the Law Revision Secretariat, dealing mainly with content production. Omar Peart, our hard-working, capable web administrator at the ministry. Thank you, Omar. Couldn't have done it without you. Couldn't. Such an easy gentleman to work with. Mr. Hansel Ramdon, Director of ICT at the ministry. And also, JAMPRO, Ms. Melissa Johnson, Project Monitoring. She's Project Coordinator for the FCGP. Mr. Marcel Brown, Business Analyst. Sharon Allen, also very critical stakeholder. Sharon Allen, JAMPRO. And Mrs. Shulette Cox, the President of JAMPRO, special mention. Without Ms. Cox, wouldn't have been here. The Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, in particular the Public Sector Modernization Division. Trina Richards, Project Management Specialist. Thank you, Trina, thank you. Trina, when you call her, I asked Trina, never say no. In fact, Trina went way beyond as well. I must thank you, Trina, my colleague who I used to work with at the Cabinet Office. Thank you so much, Trina. The Planning Institute of Jamaica, the Foundation for Competitiveness and Growth Project, Delu Wint Dawkins, Procurement Specialist. Kalisha Stewart Walker, Procurement Officer, and Mr. Melvin Smith, Project Manager. From the Ministry of Justice, Rowan Byfield, Technical Services Manager. And eGov, finally, Ms. Anika Shuttleworth, Mrs. CEO, special mention. Without Ms. Shuttleworth's support, we would not be here today. Lawrence Brown, Cluster Executive Client Relations Manager. Albert Bailey, Manager Cloud Operations, and Velina Pinnock, Security Engineer. So ladies and gentlemen, you see that it's a team effort. Joined up government at work. You can give them a round of applause. So ladies and gentlemen, in closing, we are hoping that at the end of the day, the customers will provide feedback on the portal. It's very important that we get feedback. It's very important that the members of the public, you all utilize the portal. It's not just for judges or academics or public sector officers involved in legal affairs, but also members of the public in general. So don't be, deterred. You should visit the site jlip.gov.jm. So this is our contribution to ensure that the public is sufficiently empowered and at the end of the day, the laws that are promulgated will have feedback from the members of the public. We are your humble customers here. Thank you so much and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Oh yes, can we keep the applause going, please, as we applaud our passionate PS. Thank you so much, sir, for that very comprehensive overview of how we got here today. And again, another round of applause, please, for every stakeholder who had a hand in bringing it all together. We're a part of history. Can you believe it? Nothing like this existed before. And I saw a little bit of it earlier on, and I saw something saying the Constitution in 1944. And I was like, wow, I would really like to see what that is about. What our laws looked like, what were we governed by in that time. And it is a very interesting platform. And trust me, PS, you asked about the conversations that will be had. I can tell you this much. If I know my Jamaican people well, the forum section is going to be very exciting. So if you go on there, I'm sure it's going to be an interesting place to be, to see the conversations happening there. But as the PS said, it is for everybody. So please go on and have a look at it. And we're going to be able to show you exactly what it looks like and all the tabs that are there for your indulgence. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker, a long-standing advocate for legal reform and judicial efficiency. Under his leadership, the Ministry of Justice has pursued reforms aimed at reducing court backlogs, strengthening access to justice, and modernizing the legal system to better serve the Jamaican people. And he's even taken justice to the people and law to the people. He's had several stagings of the Justice Fair specifically designed for Jamaicans living with disabilities. And we're very, very happy to have him here with us. He's going to have to leave us, so at this time we invite him to the stage. Put your hands together, please. Let's welcome the Honorable Delroy Chuck, KCMP, or Minister of Justice.
Thank you very much, Debbie. And I had intimated to my colleague, Minister Fort, and also to you, Debbie, that I had to go to another function at 11, so I'm sorry to break the agenda to take me here now. My colleague, Minister Honorable Marlene Malalu Fort, Cabinet Secretary, Ms. Honorable Audrey Sewell, Permanent Secretaries, Robinson and Grace Ann McFarlane, and Rocky Mead, members of Senior Punitive Judge, Ms. Lorna Shelley Williams, newly minted President of the Bar Association, members of the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, Ministry, and also the Ministry of Justice, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is with a great sense of pride and purpose that I join you today to officially mark the launch of the Jamaica Legal Information Portal, a platform that will undoubtedly revolutionize how legal information is accessed, understood, and utilized across our nation. Today's launch can best be described as a testament of the dedicated, meticulous approach by my colleague minister and her team in the quest towards further improving and simultaneously broadening the digital and technological reach of Jamaica's justice system. I use this opportunity to also thank my MOJ team for laying the foundation for this important platform and thereafter passing on the baton to my able colleague minister to bring them the platform to finality. This portal is more than just a website. It is a critical tool designed with intention and innovation to support the work of legal professionals, academics, public officers, and indeed the Jamaican people at large. Whether you're an attorney researching a precedent, a student exploring constitutional law, a government officer seeking clarity and statutory obligations, or a citizen in search of your legal rights, this platform puts credible, up-to-date legal information right at your fingertips. The launch of this portal squarely aligns with the government's core mission of promoting transparency, service excellence, public legal education, and equitable access to justice. By digitizing and centralizing access to legislation, case law, and legal commentary. We're removing barriers that have long hindered public understanding and engagement with the law. Too often, access to legal resources has been restricted to those within professional circles. That time is now behind us. This platform reflects a new era where some members of the public can no longer argue that Jamaica's laws are locked behind closed doors or buried in paper archives. The new portal provides an improved, open, searchable, and accessible platform to all. This is the very essence of democratic justice and a powerful expression of the government's commitment to empowering every Jamaican to understand their rights and responsibilities under the law. In a country that continues to modernize the legal framework and advance constitutional reform, a platform like the Jamaica Legal Information Portal is not just timely, it is necessary. It will support ongoing efforts to strengthen the rule of law, foster accountability, and enhance citizen participation in our democracy. Importantly, this initiative also complements the vital work being done by the Ministry of Justice, particularly in the areas of legislative reform, legal aid, restorative justice, and judicial efficiency. It reinforces the broader vision of a joined-up justice sector that leverages technology to deliver accessible, fair, and responsive services to the people of Jamaica. I thank all those who worked tirelessly to bring this portal to life. Our partners in the public and private sectors, our legal and technical teams, and the dedicated staff within the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs. This is a shining example of what can be achieved when we combine vision with action and commitment with collaboration. As we move forward, I encourage all Jamaicans, whether you're in the courtroom, the classroom, or the community, to make full use of this platform. Let it be a tool for learning, a source of empowerment, and a symbol of the transparent and inclusive justice system we continue to build together. Thank you, and let us continue to bring justice closer to the people of Jamaica, one innovation at a time.
And we say big thanks again to our Honorable Minister. Can you put our hands together, please, again for him? The Honorable Delroy Chuck, Minister of Justice. And Minister, we know that you are a man who is in demand. And the ministry actually has this jingle that says justice, justice for all. Minister Malahoo Ford, we're going to have to probably borrow it and call it access, access for all, right? I'm sure Minister Chuck will not mind at all, right? I don't think so. But, sir, we want to say thank you so much again to our Honorable Minister for his endorsement of today's platform, today's launch and this platform, what we have, because, of course, we cannot do this without the Ministry of Justice and everyone who had a hand in making sure that they were right there with the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs from the Ministry of Justice. We say a big, big, big thank you. Now, we're moving on because at this time we're having the next speaker, who is the current president of the Jamaica Bar Association, having been duly elected at the association's 45th annual general meeting in June of this year. In assuming the leadership of JAMBAR, she has placed a special emphasis on enhancing access to justice for all Jamaicans, reinforcing legal education and empowering attorneys across the island to shape an evolving legal landscape. Ladies and gentlemen, can we put our hands together? Let's welcome our president, Ms. Tanisha Watkins.
Good morning, colleagues and distinguished guests. Please permit me to adopt and acknowledge the protocols previously observed. On behalf of the Jamaican Bar Association, I would like to thank the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs for its pivotal role in the development and launch of the Jamaica Legal Information Portal. We appreciate the invitation to participate in this meaningful occasion and extend our congratulations for this successful initiative. The Jamaica Legal Information Portal marks a key step in our shared aim for more transparent, efficient, and an accessible justice system. It will deliver legal resources directly to practitioners, educators, and the public without barriers, and from what I'm seeing, certainly without delay. For attorneys, this portal will foster consistency in research and ease of access to legal materials, and will ensure that the practice of law remains grounded in current legal information and reliable too. It will allow us to serve our clients and the communities with greater confidence and integrity. The Jamaica Legal Information Portal is more than just a technical tool. It's a declaration of national intent. It affirms that justice must be visible, understandable, and accessible to everyone. It demonstrates that government accountability starts with transparent legal reforms, and it emphasizes a genuine reform and a desire for inclusion. This is truly a welcome development, and as we so often say, it's a big deal. As I sat there and I glanced across I logged on to the portal, I smiled because I was very impressed with the content, and I hope that we will really make use of this portal because truly it's transformative. I'm impressed by what is on it, and I hope that we'll really make use of it. As president of JAMBAR, I must reaffirm our steadfast commitment to collaborating with the ministry and other stakeholders to promote legal education, professional development, and technological innovation. Together, we can ensure that the JLIP remains dynamic, equitable, and relevant. This launch is truly transformative. And as we open the portal, we see that justice will also remain very, very open with it. I thank you for the opportunity to address you today, and we wish to say thank you, not just on behalf of JAMBAR, but on behalf of all the citizens of this country who will now have easier access to legal resources, to legal education, because as the Permanent Secretary said earlier, oftentimes when we sit with clients, we just smile at what they, but me never know. I really hope that we'll hear less of it and that we'll really, really, really make use of what is presented to us today. Thanks again, and thanks for having JAMBAR.
Thank you so much. Can you put our hands together again, please, our president, Ms. Tanisha Watkins. And Ms. Watkins, I did hear Honorable Minister on Smile Jamaica. She said it the other morning. She said, ignorance of the law is no excuse. And I was like, well, ma'am, listen, I think we learned something today. We can't say, but me don't know. Me never see it. Who said that? When them put it in, did it come in at the Observer and the Gleaner? Now we have a platform that has it all, and it's absolutely free. And I don't want to give away too much, but I just love the fact that they have an AI assistant on the platform called Garvey. So if you want to feel connected even more, man, there is just that presence that's there for you to help you out, to help you to understand everything a little bit better. So ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on. We're going to be having at this time a presentation or remarks from, of course, our very special guest. I'm calling her special because she's absolutely special. We have with us this morning the Honorable Mrs. Justice Lorna Shelley Williams, the Senior judge of the Supreme Court of Jamaica, where she plays a pivotal role in supporting the Chief Justice with administrative duties and the assignment of judges across court divisions. And I know she's very happy about this platform and the launch today. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Let's welcome her to the podium.
Good morning, all. I'm very happy to be here today. The Chief Justice also really regrets not being here. Could I say protocol observed? I'm honored to be part of the launch of the Jamaica Legal Information Protocol. The Chief Justice was unable to attend the launch today. He's very, very disappointed that he was unable to be here. I always say knowledge is key in all aspects of our life. It is good to be informed in relation to all laws. Now, in relation to this platform, it is good as it would inform litigants that are before the court. As was said by the president of the bar, oftentimes people come to court and the first thing they say is that they did not know. I don't know the law, I didn't know the sentence, I don't know the fine, they just do not know. So the portal, in fact, is going to be very helpful in relation to this. A second aspect that I find this portal is important for, it will inform Jamaicans about new laws that have been passed and how it affects them on a day-to-day basis. This is important, and it is something that should be encouraged. Now, this digital portal is important to judges especially, especially as how it informs the changes to sentencing in relation to statutes. The worst thing that can never happen to us judges is that we give a sentence and then 5 minutes later we hear that we were wrong. The mandatory minimum had changed. It's no longer 25 years, it's now 30. And you go back and 5 minutes before you heard, you gave a sentence for 25 years instead of the 30. So it is very important to assist us in relation to informing us in relation to sentences and other issues. I took the opportunity to go and visit the website prior to coming here. I visited it, I think, last week and the week before. And one thing that I really appreciate in relation to the website is the prompting. You will type in a law that you're looking for, but it also gives you the regulations, the gazette. It prompts you immediately to all other relevant information concerning whatever you are initially looking for. So it's not a matter that you then have to go back and research the gazette, regulation, or all other subsidiary legislation. So I applaud you. It makes life easier when you're doing research. I'm not going to be long in my remarks. All I say to you is that, well done. You are going to assist not only judges, but litigants and all Jamaicans on a whole. So I say to you in relation to the portal, well done.
And we say well done to our Honorable Justice Lorna Shelley Williams, Senior Puny Judge. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning, ma'am. Thank you so much. And as you heard, she did give us her first-hand account of her experience going on there. And I'm so happy when I hear these things of how advanced our technology is. We can't call Jamaican things backward anymore when we're this advanced in the game. And I'm very happy as well that we're not playing catch-up to the rest of the world, but we're really taking the initiative and putting things in order. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in true Jamaican style, whenever time we have events, we have to have some moment for some entertainment. So at this time, we're going to be inviting Mr. Kamoy Gordon, who's going to be playing his violin for us. Please make him welcome. Who said you couldn't get roots rocking reggae music to sound classical, right? Let's add a little violin to it. Thank you so much, Sir Kamoy Gordon. Thank you, thank you. I think we could add him to the landing page, PS. What you say? We'll open the page, we could have him just there playing until you decide what you're searching for. Yeah, I think that would work. I think so. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are continuing with our program because we have not seen the platform in action yet. You've been hearing about it all morning. We want to get there. But before we do that, we have another wonderful presenter coming to the stage. She has seen quite a few historic moments. She had, of course, a role in the development of the Heart NSTA Trust and later served as Director of Academics and then Principal Director of the Justice Training Institute, where she led the institution to regional prominence. And I'm sure that she feels very, very proud of what we're having this morning. Please put your hands together and let's welcome to the stage the Honorable Audrey V. Sewell, OJ, CDJP, or Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you, Madam Master of Ceremonies. And as was done before, may I adopt the protocol that has been established, but permit me to acknowledge Honorable Marlene Muller-Fort, our Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, and Honorable Mrs. Justice Lorna Shelley Williams, Senior Puny Judge, representing the Chief Justice. My colleague, permanent secretaries, particularly our host, permanent secretary, Wayne O. Robertson. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is with a deep sense of pride that I stand before you today to mark a significant milestone in Jamaica's history toward greater transparency, accessibility, and public engagement within our legal landscape. Today, we proudly launch the Jamaica Legal Information Portal, JLIP, an innovative digital platform that exemplifies the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs' unwavering dedication to fostering an informed, empowered, and legally aware citizenry. And I can tell you, Minister Muller-Fort and I, we go back a very far way. And I know she's somebody from I was at the Justice Training Institute. And she would come and she would always be looking at ways, new initiatives to improve the justice system. And she had that burning desire in her heart. So I have no doubt, Pierce, that much of what we have today came from that passion and that drive and desire to do something to improve the system. Thank you, Madam. It is with a deep sense of pride that I am associated with this initiative. This initiative is key to our vision to transform Jamaica into a fully digital society, making government services more accessible, efficient, and responsive to the needs of our people. The government's comprehensive digitization strategy aims to modernize public administration and improve service delivery through the development and implementation of cutting-edge digital technologies. And some of these I will just mention in passing. I know the morning is already far gone. We have the digital government services, where we are transitioning many government services online to facilitate easier access for citizens and businesses. And recently, you would have heard of the launch, or some of you may have already participated in it, where we don't need no physical evidence that our motor vehicles are certified fit. Everything now is online, and I was quite pleased when I saw the large number that have already accessed that service within the first week of its implementation. And there are others we don't need now the registration decals on our vehicles. And these are some of the initiatives being undertaken there to reduce delays and improve the bureaucracy. We have the e-government platforms, where we have created the government.gov.jm. We have looking at the online business registration and trade facilitation, which is a system like the online business registration platform and Jamaica's single window for trade, which are revolutionizing how entrepreneurs and traders operate, significantly reducing processing times and enhancing transparency in the business environment. And of course, you're talking about the big one, records digitization. Sometimes you go to some places. I'm interacting right now with a ministry where they are trying to retrieve some records for me. And they told me that because you've been in the system so long, some of those records we don't know because they are physical records to access them and what it will take to get people to go amongst the dust and all of that. But we say, thank God there is a remedy. And we are very happy for that because through the National Identification System, that's NIDS, and the Records and Information Management Program, RIM, we are trying to see how, through the RGD, improve health infrastructure, thereby enhancing efficiency, transparency, and service quality. Then, of course, you have known about online payment systems. Very secure electronic payment options are now available for various government services like TAJ, Jamaica Customs, and many, many others. And also, we can look at the digital infrastructure development, improving internet connectivity and access across Jamaica. And that remains a priority to underpin the success of all digital initiatives. And this includes expanding broadband coverage to rural and underserved areas, ensuring equitable access. JLIP has been established with clear strategic objectives that support the government's commitment to transparency and access to justice. And it will provide streamlined one-stop access to Jamaica's laws, regulations, judicial decisions, and legislative updates. It will offer easy access to the Jamaica Gazette publications and legal content, ensuring that citizens, so Mr. Thompson, I don't have to be calling you, Jamaica Printing Services. Yes, it will all be there. And 3 a.m. at times when we are working through certain matters that must be published. Yes, so bye-bye. Don't have to call it. Yes. And key judicial and legislative developments in real time. Sometimes I'm doing some things, and when I go on the MOJ website, I just get so exhausted because not being a legal person, I don't know where to look and what to look for. So we welcome this. Knowledge is power. By making legal resources more accessible and understandable, JLIP will empower individuals and communities to navigate the legal system confidently and responsibly. The portal will offer educational materials, simplified explanations of legal processes, and guides to help demystifying complex legal language. Tell me about that. JLIP features interactive tools that will allow the public to ask questions, provide feedback, and express views on the status of laws and legal reforms. The two-way communication will foster transparency, accountability, and a more inclusive approach to legal development, reinforcing the principle that governance is for and by the people. This initiative embodies our vision of a legal system that is more transparent, efficient, and equitable, one that supports service excellence and ensures that justice is accessible to all Jamaicans. And I can say, I'm looking around and I'm not seeing her, but I know she's very pleased to hit that chord. Service excellence, yes. As we launch this portal today, I wish to issue a call to action. I urge all Jamaicans, individuals, community, organizations, legal professionals, and institutions to utilize this platform actively. Yes, I was looking for Marjorie. Is she here? Johnson. Yes, I see you, Craig. Explore our laws, stay informed about legal developments, and participate in shaping our legal landscape. Your engagement is vital to strengthening our democracy and ensuring justice and fairness for all. Together, let us build a more transparent, educated, and just Jamaica, one where knowledge empowers and every citizen has the tools to participate fully in our nation's progress. Thank you.
And we say big thanks. Please put your hands together again, please. Thank you so much to the Honorable Audrey V. Sewell. And I saw Mr. Thomas over there saying, yes, thank God. My phone won't be ringing at some odd hours anymore, but we'll see. We'll see. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being so real in talking about, everything that it took for us to get here and the experience that we would have had over the years before JLIP became a reality. The truth is that we know that our people, they work so hard in the offices, and it takes a lot out of them. And so, Minister called it a labor of love. A labor of love, because even though, yes, it took a lot, we are here. We are finally here and just days away from significant moments of celebration in our country, emancipation, independence. I think this launch is just really on time and in line with everything that we're celebrating this year in our 63rd year. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I am about to invite, I believe today, our proudest minister today. Since January 2022, following her tenure as Attorney General, she's recognized as a technocrat politician. She has made this a real priority. She has experience in all branches of government, media, academia, volunteerism, so she knows the needs that existed, and she made sure that all of that was taken into consideration for what we have launching here today. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and let's welcome our minister, the Honorable Marlene Malahoo Fort, KCMP, our Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
Our very lovely Master of Ceremony, Debbie Bissoon, so beautifully attired and so gracious as always. It is true that the protocol has been established, but of course I must acknowledge the presence of Madam Justice Lorna Shelley Williams, representing the Honorable Chief Justice, the Honorable Audrey Sewell, our Cabinet Secretary, my Permanent Secretary, of course, the department heads of the ministry, Ms. Wilkins, and our Chief Parliamentary Counsel, Ms. Grant. I see the Deputy Public Defender, Madam President of Jambar, and all other distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes when you start naming people, you get into trouble because everyone wants to be individually acknowledged. I take the podium with immense pride. Debbie, you repeated what I said in my interview on television Jamaica about the pride I feel, and in turn, the description that was used, almost with maternal pride. I think it is much more than that, because it is not every day that you get to launch something that has been developed for the first time in the history of Jamaica. And as I listened to the cabinet secretary and the remarks brought by the senior puisne judge, the bar president, my colleague minister, I couldn't help but think about the journey that I have taken to this place. My entire legal life has been about goal setting for the people of Jamaica, because I believe in the potential of this nation, and I believe in the potential of our people. And as a trained attorney at law, where the rule of law matters a lot, where order in the society matters a lot, where citizen safety and security matters a lot, having the laws available to the ordinary Jamaicans and having the laws available to all the professionals in government has been an important goal for me. I recall when I began my legal career, and it's interesting because Madam Justice Shelley and I were among 4 law students at the time who were recruited directly from the law school to the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions as an exception to the rule at that time. The other 2 are now in the Court of Appeal, one sitting as a president and the other as a Justice of Appeal. It was the President of the Court, Marva MacDonald Bishop, Justice of Appeal Carol Edwards, Madam Senior Puisne Judge Lorna Shelley, now Shelley Williams, and myself, who joined the DPP's office in the previous millennium as young legal officers, and we all came. I think Justice Shelley and Madam President MacDonald Bishop had a little more experience than no Justice Edwards and myself, and I was the youngest of the lot because I had come straight out of high school, and we were all assigned additional duties, and mine was training at the office of the DPP, and there I crossed paths with our now very distinguished cabinet secretary, and we began a program of ensuring that all who worked in the law, in the judicial legal group and in the wider government, were trained and equipped. And I began teaching at the academy, the police academy and the staff college. And then we were doing internal training right across government. I moved into programs, You and the Law, and I'm just thinking what a journey it has been to the place where I am now as an elected representative of the people. And I have not even mentioned that I did do just about a decade stint on the bench, again with my colleagues. The deputy public defender, we were all in the office of the DPP. Madam CPC and I, we were in law school together. And it's just amazing. When I said to Minister Chuck that you had to be here, I knew he had a very busy schedule for the morning. But I said to him that the foundation was laid in the part of the ministry that fell under his portfolio before the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs was established. And I think it's really important that we pay homage to everyone who is involved in the work. Because sometimes when we take the podium, the impression is given that we are the be-all and end-all of it, but we work as a team. And many times, there are unsung heroes in the team. When you are placed in leadership, as I am in these roles, it is so important that you give space and room for everyone to shine. I know some of the members of the ministry think that I'm miserable, right, Ms. Wilkins? Right, P.S.? Because I make no apology in insisting on standards, absolutely none. I believe Jamaica has the potential to be a first-class nation among first world nations. I see my learned friend, King's Counsel, Mr. Earl here, nodding away because I know he too appreciates the importance of high standard. So, you know, you don't always hear the word legal and portal stirring excitement in the average Jamaican. And Ms. Wilkinson says it's only if you're in court trying to avoid actually being in court. But ladies and gentlemen, what we are launching today is far more than another website containing the laws of Jamaica. It is the delivery of a commitment made and a commitment kept. And it has been a long journey. I have to single out Nadine Wilkins because this has been, as the PS said, a baby that she has been carrying. And I know that she shares the maternal pride in the delivery. Or I should say I share it. This is access to the entire range of laws, all of which affect every area of life in Jamaica. I'm scouting the audience because there are so many people here who have been part of the work. The pioneers, the law revision commissioners. I think I'm seeing Commissioner. Tell me who I'm seeing. Eileen Boxwell. Can you please, Boxhill, can you please stand and be recognized? Wow. Like I say, this is a proud moment, not just for us at the ministry, but for so many who have labored for so long, who had bright ideas, but were not able to see them materialize because we didn't have the resources in the public purse. And now, you know, we have done a lot better in managing the public purse and the fiscal affairs of the nation, that so many things that were once dreams are now realities. When I was on the bench, I remember buying a disc with the laws of Jamaica. Anybody remember the disc with the laws of Jamaica? Because I was assigned to the parish of St. Elizabeth. And I remember going to the outstation in Malvern. And I was in the family court jurisdiction. And a matter came before me that I was not very familiar with. And I asked the clerk of the court, can you pass me the Maintenance Act? And he looked at me quizzically. Judge, there are no laws here. I'm like, what should I do? I needed to check a provision about the power of the judge to make an order. Justice Shelley spoke about embarrassment that can come in the court handing down a sentence, only to realize that the sentence had been changed and the court had not been notified and provided with the laws. When I was president of the Legal Officer Staff Association, I wrote to the Ministry of Justice asking that the judiciary be provided with the legislative instruments after the laws were updated, and ask that special copies be made available to the judges. And I'm telling you, boy, we waited and waited and waited, and they never came. We waited and waited and waited. And so I too had the experience of colleague judges at the time when I was on the bench sending a message to say, can you rise? Because only after making a ruling, we were told that there was a change in the law. So I'm saying all of this to say that insisting that this project was brought to completion was because I've been there and I've seen just how important it is to have the laws available to all of us. During my tenure as Attorney General, I remember being so frustrated so many times when I needed the orders, not just the acts of Parliament, but the orders made and other regulations in order to answer complex legal questions, and couldn't find them with ease. And I see Jeffrey Foreman here who can relate from the chambers, and all who are in the Attorney General's chambers, that when we got the issues, and first of all, we have to determine, did the officer do the right thing? Did the officer act within the bounds of the law? And then we're looking for the laws. I remember having to deal with a tax matter where a provisional order was made and it should have been finalized, and we couldn't find the gazette. Couldn't. And I had to advise the government to refund hundreds of thousands of dollars to a taxpayer. I just want you to understand that it is so important that those who work in government and those who interact with government and those who are in the society can have access to the laws of Jamaica. Having come into the representative capacity as Member of Parliament, where your first and foremost role is that of lawmaker. In my interaction with constituents, I hear them bemoaning the challenges that they have. But MP, we don't know the law, and yet ignorance of the law is no excuse. So you empower people by giving them the tools that are required. So when I go to the fishing village in Spring Garden, and I say to the fishermen that there is a law which says that there are some species that you can't fish, and the size of the fish is also regulated because we can't overfish. And we can't fish, what they call them, the tiki-tiki. What, you don't know the expression? Or I go to the Charles Gordon Market and I say that vending is not allowed on the sidewalk because there is a law. And they say, boy, poor people. And then you see the chaos in the space. There is a link. Or I go to Bogue Village, or the Montego West Village, and I say that there are regulations about the renovation of your home. And there is a process to get the approval because there are density requirements. Or I go to a citizens association meeting right here in Kingston, whether it's the Lady Musgrave Citizen Association, and they want to know whether buildings can go up to a certain height. Say there are development orders. They begin as provisional orders and then they become final. Just about everywhere, in order for us to get the level of order in the space. And in order for us to be able to walk around freely, and in order for us to have less crime in the space, we need to know what our laws are. So, some years ago, JAMPRO surveyed the business community to find out the issues that they face in conducting business. And overwhelmingly, business operators lamented the difficulty in finding and accessing gazettes containing orders that were important to their business. And you know the businesses are critical to creating employment and critical to ensuring that monies are in the public purse through the tax dollar so that at the end of the day we can get things done. And anything that is expected to have the effect of law has to be gazetted under the laws of Jamaica. So, Madam Cabinet Secretary, when you mentioned that this is part of taking Jamaica forward in a fully digital society, we are connecting the dots. And I think, Madam Bar President, or it may have been you, Madam Justice Shelley Williams, who spoke about seeing the regulations when you pulled up the laws. The laws are not complete until you can see the entire picture. And yes, from my time when I was on the bench, I thought to myself, why do we not publish the regulations together with the Acts of Parliament? And the law commissioners can tell you that that is a matter that we have under discussion now. The clerk of the Parliament can tell you how difficult it is, and the legal officers there when we are trying to cross-reference matters and we don't have up-to-date copies. You know, it's a sad reality of decades of disinvestment in the public infrastructure of the nation. But I am so proud to be part of a government that has been delivering on commitments. And I'm so proud to be here this morning to say that the frustrations experienced for many years, not just by legal practitioners and or judges and public officials, will, if not be eliminated, be significantly minimized with today's launch, because truly we're stepping into a new era. So with this portal, Jamaicans from Negril Point to Morant Point, Jamaicans in the diaspora from Toronto to London will be able to search, find, and read the laws of Jamaica at their fingertip. And you know, in my constituency, I have some grandmothers who regularly engage me. And even they, who have their smartphones, will be able to check on what the Constitution says, or what the Maintenance Act says about the responsibility placed on children in relation to their parents. Believe it or not, even they too will be able to access the laws without having to call for help. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am beyond pleased to report that this portal is already populated with several decades of the laws. Gazette publications, specifically proclamations, rules and regulations, and the annual acts of the Parliament of Jamaica, as well as the latest publication of the revised laws of Jamaica. And you know, there is a distinction between an Act of Parliament and the revised laws, because an Act of Parliament can be an amending act to an existing act, to be read and construed with the principal act. And then you have to put them together. And when we revise them, it's a consolidation of all of the amendments in respect of that particular law. So our objective for phase 2 is to have the portal populated with all the laws dating back to Jamaica's independence. Once completed, subsequent phases will provide access to the revised laws of Jamaica, and I'm talking about all editions from the 19th century to the present. The annual Acts of Jamaica from the 17th century to the present. The Jamaica Gazette publications, all of them before independent Jamaica in 1962. Law reform-related judgments and judgments of the Supreme Court related to or linked to legislation. Resources and information concerning legislative development. And the Hansard. Now, Hansard is the official record of Parliament containing debates on bills in the House of Representatives and the Senate. On the inclusion of the Hansard, I want to tell you something. When I began leading the constitutional reform process, I had to go back into the archives, looking at the debate on the Jamaica Independence Constitution. And many did not know, but I hope they know by now, that our Constitution was framed in Jamaica. It was written in Jamaica, of course within the context of the Colonial Office as a colony then, and debated in the Parliament of Jamaica. I've discovered many inaccurate statements in textbooks about the Constitution of Jamaica, not borne out by the actual records in the Parliament. And what was telling is how many inaccurate statements were repeated over and over. I see my Constitution Reform Officer, Chris Harper, smiling, because within the Constitutional Reform Division, it's a matter that we talk about. And I know it may be embarrassing to know that students are taught things that are actually not borne out by the records. So the inclusion in the portal, in the access to the Hansard containing the debate of the Parliament is very important. Now, one of the things that stared me in the face during the constitutional reform process, before the bill went to the Parliament, was the knowledge gap in the society about the Constitution. And I said that we will work to remedy this. And so I didn't take what was meant as brutal criticism in that light. I decided that we would find a remedy. And, you know, Madam Cabinet Secretary, when you mentioned that the JLIP is established with clear strategic objectives, I smiled because this new kid on the block in setting our strategic objectives and doing our strategic planning, we emerged first place in all of the government of Jamaica. We have been doing the work without fanfare and taking all of the bruises that come, because many times people only react to the law in conflict with the law. And the hands of government can sometimes be heavy and oppressive. But all of that is changing. All of that is changing. And I'm beyond pleased to be leading on this. So, ladies and gentlemen, the digitization of legislative instruments and documents, starting from the present and going back to previous centuries, and making that information available for public access on a website, is a significant aspect of the government's broader digital transformation program. Just one click can do the trick. When the JLIP is fully operationalized, it will not only significantly reduce time and effort used to locate legal documents, but it will also serve as a platform for public engagement on law reform issues, helping to shape legal proposals through citizen input. And that is what a Republican form of government is all about, putting the people at the center of it. So all the dots are connecting. So when we tell you that you must embrace the journey to Jamaica becoming a republic, it has a lot that is loaded in it. And when our people can take ownership of the laws or struggle to be lawful, will be less difficult. I am unapologetically passionate about ensuring that the laws that will govern our people are informed by their experiences, and that our people are given center stage in all that we do, pride of place. So we chose the name Garvey for a reason. Because you see, now that we are in the period coming up to our emancipendence, we hear about the things that have enslaved us. And, we hear that none but ourselves can free our minds. And we have Garvey, whose philosophy on black nationhood is something to be championed. So it's not by coincidence that our AI helper is named Garvey. And I'm excited that you will be able to interact with the portal, and that when we are reforming the laws, you will be able to, from the convenience of your bedroom or your living room or on the street side, have your say. And we will read, we will debate it out, and we will ensure that our decisions, our policies, and laws are informed by you, the people. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's launch is a major step forward in the government's ongoing efforts to modernize Jamaica's legal and constitutional landscape. We spoke about the mission of the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs. We are narrow and deep, and a lot of what we do may not excite you, but when it is done, it will impact you in a real way. We are promoting transparency. We are improving access to justice. We are improving the ease of doing business. And I want to say a very special thank you to JAMPRO and the work that they are doing in this regard. In partnership, we remain fully committed to delivering a fully digitized and accessible legal information system that serves the needs of every Jamaican. You will understand if I single out the staff within my ministry for a very special thank you. The PS named some of you. I noted the prayer said, well said, and I believe that when we commit what we do or what we desire to do to the Lord, they will succeed. It's not just paying lip service, but we are a people of faith and hope, and you neither have faith in nor hope for what you see, but what you believe can be done. And I believe in the potential of this nation. And I believe there is space and room for everyone to shine. And boy, the ministry team has been shining. They have burned the midnight oil. You know, when you burn the oil, you shine even brighter. They have juggled competing priorities. And they have poured their hearts into something that we all know will outlive us. So we're making history, and we are very, very proud of it. JLIP is part of something bigger. The ministry is part of something bigger. It is building out a better nation. It is building out an informed citizenry. And it is building out a government that is transparent and accountable. One where these are not options, where access to legal information is not a luxury, and not just for those of us who are trained in the law, and where the rule of law will have its own pride of place. And when we talk about the law, it's not going to be in conflict, but in harmony and in ownership. So, ladies and gentlemen, this officially marks the beginning of a new relationship between the citizens and the law, one where importance is placed on the right to know. And when you know, you will do differently and act differently. So to all my fellow Jamaicans, whether at home or abroad, I say that this Jamaica Legal Information Portal belongs to you. I invite you to explore it and to use it and to share it. I want you to teach your children how to find the law for themselves and how to be informed and be empowered. All of you who have taken the time to be here, I want to thank you for coming. And may this new portal be a lighthouse in the wide Sargasso Sea that is our legislative and legal archive. So as I take my seat, I will invite you to view the demo on the portal. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the home page for the Jamaica Legal Information Portal, JLIP. This is your one-stop resource for Jamaican laws. Whether you're just curious, doing Welcome Welcome to the home page for the Jamaica Legal Information Portal, JLIP. This is your one-stop resource for Jamaican laws. Whether you're just curious, doing research, or making sure you're following the rules, JLIP makes legal information easier to access and understand. Now, let's show you how to search for a law. If you know the name of the law you're looking for, just type it into the search bar and click Search. Say, for example, you want to find the Access to Information Act. Type it in, click Search, and you'll see the Act appear on screen. Just one click does the trick. There's also an advanced search option if you want to search by legal topics. Let's try looking for the topic Citizen and Nationality as an example. You'll see a list of laws related to that topic appear right away. Next, we'll go to the library page. Here, the laws are grouped into categories to make them easier to browse. You'll see two main types of laws listed. The Laws of Jamaica, which are the yearly collection of new laws passed by Parliament, and the Revised Laws, which are the edited and consolidated versions published periodically. You can explore this page by scrolling alphabetically or by year, whichever you prefer. Now, let's look at the Constitution page. This section includes key documents from Jamaica's legal history, both current and historical. As you can see, it includes the full Jamaican Constitution with all changes up to 2024, the original 1962 Independence Constitution, and the pre-independence constitutions of 1944 and 1959. Let's go to the news page. You can stay updated with the latest information on new bills and upcoming regulations. It's a great way to follow what's happening in Parliament. Let's look at the Contact Us page, where you can fill out some information and a message can be sent and a response to your question can be given within 48 business hours. Let's move on to the Forum page. To participate in the forum, you'll need to register for the site first. Once registered, you can log in and access the full forum experience. Here, you can browse existing discussion topics, ask your own questions, and receive responses from others in the community. It's a space for open dialogue and sharing information, and it will be accessible to the public. Finally, let's look at one of JLIP's most helpful features, the AI chatbot. Just click the AI chatbot tab and ask any question about the site or the laws. For example, what is the Constitution of Jamaica? And just like that, you get an answer in real time.
Can we put our hands together, please? A little louder. Wow. What a platform. And can you do me a favor, please? I just want to make sure that we are able to gain access to the platform. Can you just take out your smart devices at this time? We're going to ensure that you all are among the first to log in. And as you can see, it was not that difficult, right? So jump onto your phones, and for the persons, anybody inside here already logged in, not just visited the site, but you're logged in, your name is there, right? Legal Man 300 or something like that is your username. Okay, nobody's username is that. I'm just messing with you. But just go on to the platform. Sign up, please. I'm hearing some notifications there. Does that mean that you're on? P.S. Can we have a special prize for the first 20 persons who sign up? You get free access to the exist. Oh, you're having a little connection issue. Okay. So don't worry, let's sort that out. In fact, I was given the login information. I believe it's AC meeting $, 2025, all lowercase. Oh, you had caps. Okay, okay. So you're logged in. Ah, there you go. Anybody else logged in? Anybody else? The password, all lowercase AC, meeting $, 2025. You can see the PS afterwards to claim your prize. Right, PS? Yes, yes, he says yes. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are proud to be a Jamaican right now, can you put your hands together, please, for our JLIP platform? And let's put our hands together, please, for our Honorable Minister, Marlene Malahoo Ford. Thank you so much. As she said, just one click away and everything changes. Everything you thought you knew and everything that you now know is different. And we are so proud of this modernization of our legal and constitutional standing. And as we are promoting transparency with access and ease, this is what we're doing. And we have to say big congratulations again to our ministry, And can we applaud again all the partners who made this possible? Thank you so much, Minister. And Minister, you see, when you ask about being miserable, nobody answered. Because they know that you're not miserable, Minister. Of course not. You're just a lady of standards, and we're very, very happy that you have stood on those and has brought us here today because of those standards. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are winding down. We crossed over into the afternoon, but we are winding down. We're going to be asking at this time Ms. Nadine Wilkins, our Director of Legal Reform, to come forward to give us a vote of thanks. And I hear she has fans in the audience. It's the first time we have persons in jacket and ties screaming. So we know she had some fans here.
Thank you so much. The protocols observed, of course, but I'm so proud that we were able to gather legal professionals, members of the staff of the ministry, general. I'm overcome, I must tell you. But with seahorses, the reproductive process involves both gender. Well, the JLIP, I may have been involved in the gestation period, but the seed of the JLIP, that gentleman sitting over there. Please stand, Maurice Bailey, former director of the Legal Reform Department. Thank you. He would lament the difficulty we faced answering the very fundamental question in legal reform: what is the law? For heaven's sake, it was too difficult to answer. The efforts, you have to go to the archives, you have to go to the National Library, you have to go to the Supreme Court Library, it was difficult. As to the gazettes, let's not even go there. It's a needle in a haystack. And we would bemoan. Well, he said, we need a website. Legal reform should have a website. And Yaniv Nelson, then in charge of the Law Revision Secretariat, we would have many times we're sitting and I said, Yaniv, we're going to do a website. He said, I'm thinking that we were going to do a website because the laws that are on the Ministry of Justice website, it's limiting, and I said, boy, Yaniv, I don't think the PS is going to approve 2 websites for the Ministry of Justice. And there it was. What should we call it, Julia? The union of the Legal Reform Department and the Law Revision Secretariat in developing this portal began. It began with Yaniv Nelson, who left and is is away from Jamaica, but we have to remember him too, because even the name, it's Yaniv who came up with this name. And Maurice Bailey we'd meet several times, and he would give us the benefit of what, troubleshooting what should go on the website. So it's just like the seahorse. The fertilization happens one place, and the gestation and the birth happens at another place. But I would like you, Maurice, to feel proud today, too, that something you thought of, expressed many times, has happened. The staff you left behind did not forget you, and we did carry out what you conceptualized. So, let me not, we've been here listening to much, so let me not take you, because emotion will cause me to ramble. There are so many people to thank. Oh my goodness. Eventually, I think because Mrs. Julia Gowie-Williams I can't begin to tell you how much work that lady, how much she has done. She took it on when Yaniv Nelson left. She took it on with an indefatigable energy. Not as young as she, I'm not as young, so I did not have that energy, but she kept it going. Thank you so much, Mrs. Gowie-Williams. All right, so then, and this many years ago, so we've done the past. Then, Yaniv again, he is the one who made the contact with JAMPRO and organized a meeting with Shulette Cox at the Legal Reform Department. And she was very doubtful. We had to convince her that the website would in fact deliver the Gazettes of Jamaica in digitized form. So Shulette, you're not here, but I hope you are proud that we delivered to you what we promised. And everybody here, anyone from JAMPRO, please convey that to Ms. Cox. So, but after Ms. Cox, she handed us over to her very able team of Sharon Allen, Melissa Johnson, Marcel Brown, and Stacy Rose. Stacy Rose did a lot of hand-holding because we know we knew what we wanted, but getting project documents written, no, you don't learn that in law school. We don't learn that at the faculty either. So she took it on and said, all right, fine. She just wrote them. All the project documents that needed to be written. And JAMPRO has really been, they've been quietly like a force behind us to help us to get where we are as well. We owe a debt of gratitude to JAMPRO. It wasn't just funding they got us to get. PIOJ. So JAMPRO was very instrumental in convincing PIOJ to include the JLIP in the, what's it called? The Foundations for Competitiveness and Growth project. So funding was obtained for JLIP through that project. And again, thank you, JAMPRO, for pushing that for us with the PIOJ. And PIOJ, we've gotten a lot of help from you as well, over and beyond financing. So many thanks to Melvin Smith, Delu Wint, and Kalisha Walker. Then the eGov. Oh, what is it? Their ICT authority now. I can't remember the name. I think that may be the name now because their name has changed. We were a little disappointed because we said, why? Why eGov? Because we thought we were going to have the server and we were going to, no, they said, no, it's going to have to be at eGov. It's .gov.jm and a lot of things. So, okay, fine. We just wanted the website. So we said, okay, fine. But thank you so much for the support that we received. And, well, it's ongoing because we will have to be working closely with them going forward. And thank them very much for what they have done so far. Then, you know, in life, they say the Lord sends us angels. Well, trust me. Neither Mrs. Williams and myself are technical. So when technical issues were arised, we were like, an angel. Trina, you are an angel. Trina Richards. Let me tell you, project management specialist, public sector modernization division in the Ministry of Finance. Trina, I cannot tell you thanks enough. She took it over. So when we're having meetings with the company SoftNG that was contracted to develop this website, do we understand half of what they're asking? Clueless. Because we had not yet had our webmaster, Omar, who came afterwards, and he took over as well. And we just sat and just listened. But Trina, thanks doesn't cover it. You went way beyond what you needed to do. The Supreme Court librarian, the chief librarian, Mrs. Janet Bailey Powell. So because a lot of the data that we're loading onto the website, we have to actually scan them ourselves. We had to, Carol Ford, where is Carol Ford? Former chief librarian of the Supreme Court. There she is. She first went to scout out where material is. So we have a long list of all the material in the archives, a long list of all the material at Supreme Court. We know where things are now, thanks to Carol. And so she too paved the way, and Mrs. Bailey Powell, she has been so helpful to facilitate us to scan the material we needed to scan. And we intend to continue to avail ourselves of her helpfulness, because this loading of material is just beginning. What you see today is just the beginning. We have so much more. 12,000 gazettes and going. Every time you go on, you will see more material than you saw the day before. The National Archives, Mrs. Raquel Strawn in a rarity. I was in awe of just how much material is in the National Archives. You'd be amazed. The National Archives has an awesome, I don't think they missed any of the gazettes, Carol, or the annual acts. They just have, they are all there. So we will be scanning them and making them available to you. Beverly Lashley at the National Library, so helpful, immediately helpful, said of course, and every assistance has been given to us when we go to the National Library, which again is another place where you would be amazed at the information that's there about our legislative history. Ms. Colleen Lowe, the clerk to the Houses of Parliament, we wrote asking for assistance to extract from the Hansards the debates on bills in the Parliament. Unhesitatingly, yes was the answer. And we've not yet loaded those on because we are working through the process that we will adopt, but very soon the debates on the bills in both the lower and the upper houses of Parliament will be at your fingertips. To the consultants, SoftNG, there were many times when, in my frustration, I would say, why? 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 I'm trying to understand. I know the result we want. Why is it that we can't have that result now? Why do we have to wait 1 week? And then when it comes, why? But Olga was very patient, didn't get flustered. And so thank you, SoftNG. We did it at a distance. I also wondered how we would do that. They are miles away from us. We have meetings every Monday morning, I beg your pardon, and we worked through things, but they got it done. And we thank Soft NG for bringing us here. And then I have to come home with the thanks now. MLCA. We started with the Ministry of Justice, but with the establishment of the MLCA, smaller, so a lot more intimate contact, a lot more, we're able, greater access to the PS, to share with the PS what our desires were and where we wanted to go. And I want to say that the effort that was made by the PS, HR, procurement, to ensure that we received the resources that we required to stand here this morning, I am so thankful. It is not something that is taken lightly. And to be honest, after a while, I think we felt as if the entire MLCA was like a wind in our sails. Because after a while, when we realized that the time was going and we needed help, asked the PS if we could ask the legal officers in the ministry to assist us with some of the work. And when we asked them, the enthusiasm with which Christopher Harper and his team populated the information for the Constitution page. They did that single-handedly. The legal officers in the legal education division, they took on an awesome task, and they're not quite finished yet either, which is extracting those judgments. They jumped into it, and when they produced their first batch, they said, oh my goodness, 200, and I said, wow. They thank you very much. I know, Julia, I know we are part of it, but still, I think the Law Revision team, I think we need to big them up too. Yeah. I will big them up for. They went beyond what they would normally have to do, and they never complained. They just did it. Thank you very much. Thank you. IT. Where would we be without IT? We were a little frustration because we were saying, HR, we need a webmaster, we need a webmaster, we need a webmaster. Well, Omar did come. The Lord sent him at the right time, because Trina was saying, boy, you know, Nadine, there's her project, her substantive work was heating up, and we were getting anxious now because we can't manage without Trina. What we going to do? And then the Lord sent Omar, and Omar just jumped in and just took it. And I want to thank you so much, Omar. I don't know how much sleep you have been getting to ensure that those 12,000 gazettes, how much thousand acts of parliament that are up on that site at the moment. And it's a work in progress, but you know, you deserve some sleep. Thank you very much. And you know, last but not least, I need to thank our minister. At first, when we told her about this very ambitious project, she was a little skeptical. There was a look of, can they really do this? Because, you know, we were getting excited. We were telling her, we're going to do this, we're going to put this on, and that is going, and she looked, she smiled, you know, she has that kind of smile that says, But we won her over. She saw that we would do it, and we won her over. And then we got 100% of the motivation and the support from her. So thank you so much, because we could sit there and be aspirational, you know, but what makes it happen? The support from the ministry, because notwithstanding, we received financial support for the development of the website from the PIOJ JAMPRO project, there's a lot more expenditure involved in this website being here today, a lot. And that came from the full 100% adoption of this project by the MLC and take it here. So, you know, I need to stop, don't it? Because I really could stay here much longer because there are so many people to that. I promise you, I'm rounding off now. I'm just going to say, to anyone who I have not referred to specifically, you are not forgotten. We are speaking for Julia now, we are so thankful. And we're not done. So we're coming at you again. We're coming for more help. Don't run us. We're not done. We have a lot more work to do. Carol, you have a lot more work to do. Because this is something that we want Jamaicans to own. It's everybody's. You go on it, something is missing, send a message right away. And we have a team, a dedicated team, that's going to make sure that it goes on right away. We will find it, we will put it on. If you see an error, tell us, we're fixing it. There are people whose job is to do just that. So this belongs to everyone. Thank you very much.
Now I understand why she was getting the screams and the applause. Can we applaud her again, please? Miss Nadine Wilkins. I know it's not legal to say this. I'm going to say the rock star director of legal reform. Can I do that? Is that okay? Okay, good. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us that vote of thanks. And as she said, and rightfully so, this is just the beginning. So it's not just a platform that we've launched today and that's it, but there is work that will continuously be done on the platform as our laws continue to evolve. And as she said, if there are any errors, anything at all there that you may see that you want to point out, as you've heard her say just now, they're more than happy to have those things resolved in a timely manner. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the end of this morning's proceedings. Give yourselves a big round of applause for being an exceptional audience. And for our viewing audience, you've just witnessed the official unveiling of a platform that will make it easier for every Jamaican to find, understand, and engage with the law. Whether you're in the courtroom, a classroom, or your living room, JLIP brings the law just right to you. We're encouraging you all to visit the portal online. You need to explore, you need to read, you need to learn, share, and use it, please. Again, we thank the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs and to all the partners. We also like to say a big thank you to Tony, our interpreter, who brought the law, of course, and today's proceedings to everybody. Yes, give her a round of applause, please. Thank you all for being here, a part of this historic launch. We want to just say quickly, though, we want to mention, we didn't get to mention her, Miss Maria Thompson-Walters, Executive Director, Transformation Implementation Unit at the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. Thank you so much for being here. Can you just wave for us so we can acknowledge you? Thank you so much, ma'am, for being here. And I also want to big up again Mr. Maurice Bailey. Can we big him up again? I think it's only right. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want you to make note that there is a table right outside that gives you a full demonstration of the platform. You are able to go on out there and engage with it and look for yourself, see it happen in real time. We encourage you to do that just before you leave. Also, quick note that we do have some refreshments to be served on the outside as well, and you're exiting to the right. It's going to be to my left of the room through those doors. Thank you all so much again. My name is Debbie Bissoon. It has been my absolute pleasure being your host today, and spread the word far and wide that JLIP is now launched and available to all Jamaicans. Have a wonderful rest of day. Thank you. We just want to also make you aware that we're going to be leaving to the good sounds of our violinist, Mr. Kamoy Gordon.